Hello everyone, welcome. Today we will talk about the top 10 of the most important key concepts of Angular. We're going to review the basic architecture of Angular 4, explain in details with code examples about those key concepts. These concepts will provide you the fundamental understanding of Angular and lay the foundations of your Angular 4 development. Also, let you pass Angular job interviews. Just kidding. No nonsense. Let's get started. First, let's take a look at Angular 4 architecture. Module. Module is one of the key concepts in Angular. Angular apps are modular. Module helps to organize an application into cohesive blocks of functionalities. Angular has its own modularity system called ng modules. ng modules takes a metadata objects that tell Angular to identify the module's components, templates, directives, and pipes. The templates and the components are companions. They usually go hand in hand. Component push the values to template via property binding, and actions and events from templates will be coming to components through event binding. Directives such as *ng4 and *ngIf will change the structures or appearance of the template. And the services are shared classes that can interact with remote web services to get or post the data. Here are the top 10 key concepts of Angular. Let's get familiar of their terms. Component, template, service, property binding, event binding, ng model, directives, routing, form modules, HTTP modules. Let's see each of them. The component class is defined as .component.ts. I borrow the hero example from Angular I/O. A component controls a section of screens called view. Components also support the logic when displaying the view. The component class will interact with template to generate the view through Angular framework. The template is defined as .component.html. It is a form of HTML that tells Angular how to render the component. It is the view that companion with component. A template goes hand in hand with a component. Service is defined in .service.ts file. A service is usually a class for a clearly defined purpose, such as data service, logger service, security service. The service can be used by different components. It is used injectable to do dependency injection into the component. Number 4. Property binding. Property binding simply means passing data from the component class and setting the values of a given element in the template view. It is one-way binding as shown in the diagram. You set the data values in the component through property bindings. The data will show in the element in the view. Here, the example I show, there's two ways to do property binding. The common way. First is called interpolation. It's a fancy term, but actually the syntax is double curly. And for example, in the component, you define a variable called title. And then if in the template you say double curly title and double curly, it is that the title in the components you defined will show on the template. Another way to do it with property binding is through expression context. Basically, the syntax is quote equal to, bracket equal to double quote. And for example, in the component, you have a variable defined as hidden, and the value can be changed, not changed. And in the template, if you define as bracket hidden, and then it will check for the the value, and if it's equal to is changed, and the value will show as changed. Okay, number 5 is event binding. Event binding means when user does a click or a keyboard actions, the data from the template will pass into component. It is also a one-way data binding. It's the opposite way of the property binding. To capture an event from the view, you need to put the event in the parentheses. As an example over here shows, the parentheses, you put the action, and then you capture that event with some supporting data. There are many actions that are supported by Angular. Here are two examples. One is a click, and another one is a key down. Of course, you can also do key up, mouse over, hover, etc., etc. And the number 6 is ng model. ng model enables us to do a two-way data binding with this special syntax, bracket inside with a parenthesis. This is also called banana box syntax. The values in the view will always be synced back to the component class as well. It can be used by itself or as part of a larger form. Number 7, directives. Directives are for Angular to render component content dynamically. It transforms and updates the HTML DOM. DOM, Document Object Model, right? So there are two types of directives, structured and attribute directives. Structured directives alter the layout for updating the elements in the DOM. Attribute directives change the appearance or the behavior of existing elements. Here are two commonly used structured directives, *ng4 and *ngIf. *ng4 is for looping through the elements and displaying them on the DOM. ngIf is a conditional if statement that if true, the element will be adding to the DOM. Number 8, router. The Angular router enables navigations from one view to the next as user perform application tasks. Angular router is in Angular router package. You need to import the package in order to use it. You will define the path to route to different components. Path is the keyword here. You can also do the redirect to or path match options. And number 9, form module. Forms are the most useful modules for almost all the business applications. In Angular, Forms module is in Angular Forms package. Make sure you import Forms module package when you start to implement your input forms. Your Angular Forms implementation usually consists of Angular form, HTML form template with a form component. And in many cases, your application, your web application need to communicate with, let's say, REST web services on a remote server to retrieve or submit data. Angular HTTP module is what you need. Angular HTTP module will assist you to make HTTP calls such as GET, POST, or PUT, or DELETE. The HTTP module is in a Angular HTTP package. You will need to import it before you use it as well. The get hero example here is to show you how to make the call. We will explain in more details in future videos, and this video is just for you to get familiar with these key concepts. So we review all the 10 key concepts. Hope that help you understand more about Angular. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.